Coach Edwards here with LacrosseGoalietips.com and LacrosseGoalieUniversity.com, and we got another question today. This one's from Philip in upstate New York. Dear Coach Edwards, thanks so much for all you do for the lacrosse community. For us parents of lacrosse goalies, it sure is hard to find credible information out there. I tell every coach I know about your site. Philip, thanks a lot. I appreciate that. I have two goalies, a son and a daughter. They are both in junior high school and will be in high school next year. We're looking for some strength and conditioning for them in the off season. There's a CrossFit gym really close to our home, and I was wondering what you thought about CrossFit for young athletes. Thanks so much, Philip in upstate New York. Philip, this is a great question. You may or may not know, but I ran a strength and conditioning business a number of years ago where I trained basically young athletes, usually from about 14. I think the oldest athlete I had at the time was about 21. And my specialty, a lot of my athletes came to me referred by physical therapists. And because I kind of had I had a niche where I was really good at teaching technique and understanding flexibility, and usually the things that got this athlete injured in the first place was lack of flexibility, lack of strength, things along those lines. So I come at this with a pretty unique angle. From my Olympic training background, I was able to work with a lot of amazing strength and conditioning coaches. I also worked with some crappy ones. So here's my deal on CrossFit, and I will, for full disclosure, I've done CrossFit a little bit, not a ton, but I want to like CrossFit. I want to. However, there's some major issues with CrossFit, and I'm gonna try to do my best to preface this as much as possible. Okay, so that you understand where I'm coming from. CrossFit in and of itself is not dangerous. However, it's how it's applied that can be wrong for the athlete who's doing it. So while I would like to tell you a very simple yes or no answer, hey, yeah, take your kids, go sign them up at the CrossFit gym so they're working on something, I say yes, but the problem with CrossFit is there's no progression. All right, and it's very well known that that there's, and I could go into a long, just a long, detailed argument about this, but so I'll spare most of the details here. But just understand this. There are some CrossFit gyms that are run by very reputable strength and conditioning coaches who have a solid strength and conditioning background, but they have like a CrossFit gym as part of their business model to appeal to a larger spectrum of the population who just like CrossFit. I like CrossFit. I like the team environment of it. You know, it's not really a team, but it's like all these people training next to each other, and that can be pretty inspiring. But for young athletes or for weaker athletes, it can be harmful. All right. So if your athletes have never done anything and you're just looking for something to do, I wouldn't necessarily say CrossFit is the best choice. I would really appreciate that if they went to a reputable strength and conditioning coach, and you might have to drive a bit to get there, but that you could, that you're going to find that your athletes get a little bit more one-on-one, all right? Because it always shocks me at junior high school and high school how inflexible athletes are, and how they usually have major weaknesses somewhere. A lot of it comes from just sitting around, sitting at the desk, sitting playing Xbox, right, whatever. So I want to like CrossFit and I want to say go, and I've gone. However, there's no progression, which means you're not going and you're lifting a 10-pound weight this week and you're going to a 20-pound weight a couple weeks. Right? I'm exaggerating. But that's what you want to see happen. It's kind of like we're going to get you in there and we're going to do Olympic lifts for sets of 10 and some sets of 20, and we're going to do that 5 times. So Olympic lifting is great. However, for most of us that have experience with Olympic lifting, we would say doing high repetition Olympic lifts is ill-advised. Okay, and there's a lot of people that would argue with that. Now, in terms of general physical preparedness, CrossFit can be great if you have the strength and the physical ability to withstand doing full squats, and a lot of people can't, or doing an overhead snatch. A lot of people can't do that. They don't have the flexibility in their shoulders. Okay, so what I'd rather see you find an Olympic lifting gym where you're going to get taught by somebody who's got experience, teach you how to squat. Even power lifters who are well versed in squatting technique can teach your young athlete how to squat and do things successfully. I will say this. just getting stronger, all right? The act of getting a young athlete, especially a junior high school athlete, getting them stronger is so empowering, not just for lacrosse, but just in life. Like, you know, you take a junior high school kid and you get them stronger and they walk down the hall in school with more poise and they're more confident. I've seen athletes who get stronger physically do better in school academically, right? Just because they're just more empowered about what they do and who they are, and that's really cool. So in terms of CrossFit, my short answer here would be no. Unless it was taught by a reputable strength and conditioning coach who would give your athlete progression. All right, you know, usually an exercise by itself is not bad. All right, I will say this: an exercise by itself is not bad. It's who performs that exercise and when. All right, are they ready for it? Do they have the flexibility for it? Do they have the strength for it? All right, CrossFit, I would, you know, I'm leaning more, obviously you can hear my voice, leaning more towards no than yes, okay? So go seek out somebody, you know, reputable. If there's a university around you, there's usually a football team, a strength and conditioning coach that you can go find who can help your young athlete. And sometimes gyms have a really good personal trainer that is smart, and that's rare, but it's out there, okay? So I appreciate the question, Philip in upstate New York. I wish your kids the best. If there's anything else I can help you with. For our Lacrosse Goalie University members, I do have a bit of a strength and conditioning component in Lacrosse Goalie University, if you're interested. So, Philip, good luck with that, and I'll talk to you real soon. Again, I'm Coach Edwards, lacrossegoalietips.com. Appreciate the question. Look forward to your questions. You can email me at coachedwards@lacrossegoalietips.com. or leave me a message in the contact form on the site, and I'll talk to you real soon. Cheers.